We all know that Connor McDavid is the undisputed best player this season, but a great debate to be had is who is the second best player so far. Once you get past gawking at McDavid's incredible stat line this season, you'll see that other players are having great years that seem to be not talked about too much, probably because of McDavid. Today, I will go over 6 players and reveal who I believe to be the second best player. To start us off, let's talk about one of the more obvious possible options, Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl has put up an impressive 29 goals and 47 assists for 76 points in just 49 games played this season with the Oilers. That puts him second in points behind his teammate Connor McDavid. These stats seem to point to the fact that Draisaitl is the definitive second best player this year, but I don't believe that to be the case. Although McDavid and Draisaitl usually play on separate lines, they get a lot of time together on the power play. And that is where Draisaitl gets a lot of his points. He has scored 47% of his points on the power play, where he's always playing with McDavid, which can definitely boost his production. Now, I'm not saying Draisaitl is terrible without McDavid, but a player will inevitably get a boost in their production when playing with a player of McDavid's caliber versus playing with a player of, let's say, Marner's caliber. With that being said though, Draisaitl is 17th in 5-on-5 points this season, with 39, which shows just how much he benefits from McDavid. I think Draisaitl is an indisputable top 5 player this season, but just not number 2. Moving on though, another guy that could be the second best player this season is Jack Hughes. Hughes has had a nice first half so far this year, registering 35 goals and 67 points in just 50 games, which puts him 9th in points and 3rd in goals. Where Hughes especially shines though is during 5-on-5 play, where he has scored league-leading 29 even-strength goals, and is second in even-strength points at 47. He is also above average defensively, which makes him a very well-rounded and elite player. Just like Draisaitl though, Hughes is a definite top 5 player this year, just not in that number 2 spot. Now moving on, let's talk about the first defenseman on this list, Erik Karlsson. Karlsson has re-emerged this season, returning to his Ottawa Senators form, as he has recorded 17 goals and 53 assists for 70 points this season, leading all defensemen in goals, points, and assists. His point production is unprecedented for a defenseman, as he is on pace for over 100 points this year. Just like Hughes, he has done most of his damage during even strength play, recording 53 points at 5-on-5. Something Karlsson lacks though is his physical play, which for a defenseman is an important attribute. Standing at 6 feet tall, he is outsized by most of his opponents, which makes him less effective defensively, which is why he is not the second best player this year, although he is by far the best defenseman, and if his rate continues, he should win the Norris Trophy. Continuing on, the next possible option for the NHL's second best player is David Pastrnak. Pastrnak has boasted an incredible 38 goals and 34 assists, totaling to 72 points, as he has been a huge part to the Bruins' record pace this year. Pastrnak's 38 goals this year puts him second only to McDavid, and that's what he is known for, being a sharpshooter. Just like all the other stars around him, he is a very skilled player, able to pull off incredible dekes and high IQ plays. But where he does not shine as well is in his defense, as he has been below average over his career, including this season. The second best player should be someone who is great on both sides of the puck, just like how Cale Makar is. Makar came into this season having won the Stanley Cup and Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP last spring, which saw his team hoist Lord Stanley. This season, Makar sits at a nice 45 points in 45 games, while being 4th in defenseman goals with 13. Makar shines through by being incredibly defensively. His speed allows him to catch any skater in the league. His hand-eye and poke-checking ability is incredible. And best of all, he's excellent with transitioning from a defensive play straight into dangerous offensive scoring chances. His point production has just been a bit slower this season, and that is why Makar is not the second best player this year. No, the second best player has recorded 0 points so far this season. And if you have not clued in from the thumbnail yet, I am talking about Linus Ullmark. Ullmark has provided demigod-like numbers for the Bruins so far this year, posting a .937 save percentage and a 1.90 goals against average this year. He leads the league in both stats this year with goalies who have played minimum of 5 games. And that save percentage would tie him 5th all-time in single-season save percentage seasons. Seeing the Bruins have been a juggernaut this season, some may argue that Ullmark's stats are boosted by the great players in front of him, and they would be a tiny bit right with his upfront numbers. But his goals saved above expected is at 29.9 this season. That basically means he has saved around 30 more goals than an average goalie would if they faced the same shots. That 29.9 goals saved above expected leads the league by a wide margin. Ullmark's record this year sits at an insane 26-4-2, which I guess is more of a team stat, but still shows how great he has played. All in all though, Ullmark has solidified himself as not only the best goalie this season, but also the second best player behind Connor McDavid. That is it for this video though, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed, and consider checking out my last video on the NHL's best player, Connor McDavid. See you guys next time.